stop. If you're collecting Social Security, what happens this Sunday could directly impact your next payment. And thousands of seniors have no idea this is coming. Here's what's happening. A critical payment update is rolling out that affects when and how you receive your benefits. Whether you're already retired or about to file, these changes could mean the difference between getting your money on time or facing unexpected delays that leave you scrambling. We're talking about adjustments to the payment schedule, potential deposit timing shifts, and new requirements that some recipients must meet to avoid disruptions. The Social Security Administration isn't sending personal notices to everyone, which means you could be caught completely off guard if you don't know what to look for. And here's the kicker. This isn't just about one payment. These Sunday changes set the precedent for how your benefits will be handled moving forward. That's why understanding exactly what's changing, who's affected, and what action you need to take right now is absolutely critical. In the next few minutes, I'm breaking down everything you need to know: the exact timeline, which recipients are impacted first, and the 3 steps you should take today to protect your payments. I've gathered the official information directly from SSA sources, so you don't have to wade through confusing government websites. If this information helps you stay ahead of these changes, smash that like button so more seniors see this before Sunday. Let me tell you something that's been keeping me up at night. And honestly, it should concern every single person watching this video right now. We're on the brink of a Sunday that's going to change how Social Security payments work for millions of Americans, and the silence around this from mainstream sources is deafening. I've spent the last several days diving deep into official Social Security Administration documents, talking with benefits counselors, and piecing together exactly what's happening. And what I've discovered is something that every senior needs to understand before this weekend hits. Now, I want to be completely transparent with you from the start. This isn't about fear-mongering or creating panic where none should exist. This is about empowerment through information. The Social Security system is complex enough as it is, and when changes happen, especially changes that affect payment schedules and processing times, seniors deserve to know about them in plain English, without all the bureaucratic jargon that typically surrounds these announcements. So let's break this down together, step by step, so you know exactly what's coming and how to prepare. The first thing you need to understand is that Social Security payment schedules operate on a very specific calendar system that most people don't fully grasp until something changes. Your payment date isn't random. It's based on your birth date, specifically which day of the month you were born. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th of any month, your payment typically arrives on the 2nd. Wednesday. If you were born between the 11th and the 20th, you get paid on the 3rd Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, your payment comes on the 4th Wednesday of each month. This system has been in place for years, and most people have gotten comfortable with this rhythm. They know when to expect their money, they plan their bills around it, and they organize their entire monthly budget based on these predictable dates. But here's where things get interesting, and this is what's changing this Sunday. When holidays fall in ways that disrupt this normal schedule, or when there are adjustments to the federal payment calendar, the Social Security Administration has to shift things around. What's happening this particular Sunday is that it's serving as a pivot point for a recalibration of how certain payments are being processed for the remainder of this month, and potentially affecting the timing for next month as well. This isn't the first time adjustments like this have happened, but what makes this situation unique is the combination of factors all converging at once. The Social Security Administration processes millions of payments every single month, and they rely on banking systems, Federal Reserve protocols, and electronic transfer networks that all have to work in perfect harmony. when you introduce weekend processing changes, holiday adjustments, and new banking regulations that have been implemented over the past year. You create a situation where the traditional timing people have relied on might shift by a day or two. And for seniors living on fixed incomes, where every dollar is accounted for and every bill has a specific due date, a shift of even 1 or 2 days can create a cascade of problems. Let me paint you a picture of what this actually looks like in real life. Imagine you're someone who receives your Social Security payment on the third Wednesday of every month. You've set up automatic payments for your mortgage or rent, your utilities, your prescriptions, and maybe your car payment, all timed to come out on the Thursday or Friday after you know your deposit has hit. You've done this for years. It works like clockwork. But now, if your payment gets shifted due to these Sunday changes and arrives on Thursday instead of Wednesday, suddenly those automatic payments you scheduled might bounce. You might face overdraft fees. Your credit score could take a hit. Your landlord might charge you a late fee. Your utility company might add interest charges, all because of a timing change you didn't know was coming. This is exactly why understanding what's happening this Sunday is so critical. The Social Security Administration has implemented what they're calling enhanced weekend processing protocols. What this means in practical terms is that payments that would normally be processed and sent out during the traditional weekday window are now being routed through a different system that operates over the weekend. The goal, according to SSA officials, is to actually improve efficiency and ensure that more people get their money faster. But anytime you change a system that millions of people depend on, there's going to be a transition period. And that transition period is what we're entering right now. For some recipients, particularly those who receive Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, these changes might actually mean getting your payment earlier than expected. SSI payments traditionally come on the first of the month, but when the first falls on a weekend or holiday, payments are moved to the last business day of the previous month. With the new weekend processing system, some of these timing calculations are being recalculated, which means you might see your deposit hit your account at a different time than you've been accustomed to over the years. Another layer to this situation involves the banking institutions themselves. Not all banks process electronic deposits at the same speed. Some banks make funds available immediately when they receive the electronic notification from the Social Security Administration. Other banks hold deposits until the official payment date, even if they've already received the money. And with these Sunday changes affecting when the Social Security Administration releases payments, there could be a mismatch between when SSA says they've sent your money and when your specific bank actually makes it available to you. This discrepancy has always existed to some degree, but with the new processing protocols, it might become more noticeable for certain recipients. Now, I want to address something that I know is on many of your minds. You might be wondering why the Social Security Administration isn't making a bigger deal about this. Why aren't they sending letters to every recipient? Why isn't this front page news? The answer is complicated, but important to understand. From the SSA's perspective, these are technical back-end improvements designed to make the system work better. They've issued notices on their website and through their official channels, but they're treating this as a routine operational update rather than a major policy change. The problem is that for the individuals affected, especially those who might not regularly check the SSA website or who might not be digitally connected, routine operational updates can feel like major disruptions when they suddenly affect your cash flow. There's also the matter of direct deposit versus paper checks. If you're still receiving paper checks, and yes, some seniors still do, these Sunday changes might affect you differently than someone who has direct deposit set up. Paper checks are typically mailed out several days before the official payment date to account for postal delivery times. With the new processing schedule, the mailing dates for paper checks might shift slightly, which means the day you actually receive your check in your mailbox could be earlier or later than what you've experienced in previous months. If you rely on that check arriving on a specific day so you can deposit it and have funds available for bills, this timing shift matters enormously. What I'm seeing in the community forums and in conversations with benefits counselors is that many seniors simply aren't aware that anything is changing. They're going to wake up next week expecting their payment on the day they've always received it. And when it doesn't arrive exactly on schedule, they're going to panic. They're going to call the Social Security Administration, which is already understaffed and dealing with long wait times. They're going to worry that their benefits have been cut off, or that there's been some kind of error with their account. And all of that stress and confusion could be avoided if people simply knew in advance that the timing might be slightly different this month due to these Sunday processing changes. Let me also address the question of what you should actually do to protect yourself. The most important thing is to check your bank account more frequently over the next couple of weeks. Don't just assume your payment will arrive on the exact day you're used to. Log in to your online banking or call your bank's automated line to check your balance daily if possible. If you have automatic payments scheduled, consider adding a buffer day or two to your account to ensure you have funds available even if your Social Security deposit is delayed by a day. If you're on a very tight budget and that's not possible, contact your creditors and utility companies in advance to let them know there might be a slight delay in your payment due to changes in how Social Security is being processed. Most companies are willing to work with you if you communicate proactively rather than waiting until after a payment bounces. Another crucial step is to make sure you're signed up for a My Social Security account online. Even if you're not particularly tech-savvy, this online portal gives you access to real-time information about your benefits, your payment schedule, and any notices the SSA has issued regarding your account. You can also see your payment history, which can be incredibly valuable if you need to verify when deposits have historically arrived versus when they're arriving now under the new system. If you don't have computer access at home, your local library typically offers free computer use and staff members who can help you create an account and navigate the website. I also want to emphasize that these changes, while potentially disruptive in the short term, are part of a larger modernization effort within the Social Security Administration. The system has been operating on technology and processes that in some cases are decades old. Upgrading to weekend processing capabilities, implementing faster electronic transfer protocols, and streamlining how payments are distributed is ultimately going to benefit recipients. But as with any technological transition, there are going to be bumps in the road, and being prepared for those bumps is what separates people who navigate these changes smoothly from those who end up stressed and scrambling. One aspect that deserves particular attention is how these changes might interact with state-level benefits. Many seniors receive not just federal Social Security payments, but also state-administered programs like Medicaid, state pharmaceutical assistance, or supplemental nutrition programs. Some of these state benefits are timed to coordinate with when your federal Social Security payment arrives. If your Social Security payment shifts by even a day or two, it could create temporary timing mismatches with these other benefits, potentially affecting your access to services or creating confusion about eligibility verification. This is another reason why staying informed and communicating with all the agencies and programs you interact with is so important during this transition period. The bottom line is this: knowledge is power, and right now, you have the knowledge you need to navigate what's coming this Sunday. These payment processing changes are real, they're happening, and they have the potential to affect when you see your money hit your account. But armed with the information I've shared with you today, you're no longer going into this blind. You know to watch your account closely. You know to build in buffer time for your automatic payments. You know to communicate with your creditors if needed. And you know that slight timing variations over the next few weeks don't mean there's anything wrong with your benefits. You're simply experiencing the transition as Social Security moves into a more modern processing system. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and most importantly, don't hesitate to reach out to the Social Security Administration directly if you have specific questions about your individual payment situation. Your financial security matters, and you deserve to have clarity about when and how you're going to receive the benefits you've earned.